Hey, welcome to the World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Showcase. I am Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. And this is the series of videos where we cover all 32 qualifiers for the Capcom Cup coming up on December 5th through 6th at the PlayStation Experience. If you guys do not know what the Capcom Cup is or anything about the Capcom Pro Tour or just like to know more about it, general storylines and such, we did an intro video here on this channel, youtube.com/Capcom Fighters. Check it out. But we are here to talk about the players.
This one is going to be about Dashio, YBK's Dashio, person who qualified at the Tokyo Game Show this year. So he won one of the automatic qualifiers to get into Capcom Cup.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Tokyo Game Show last year and this year, super stacked tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
Being in Japan, where the bulk of a lot of the strongest players are from, you know, that tournament was just ridiculous. There's so many good players in that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the best players in Japan were there. A couple of players from North America were there. And he went through a gauntlet.
Yeah.
You know, he faced a bunch of good players in there, and he's the one who came out on top of it after all was said and done.
Yeah, made it all the way through winner's bracket, got to grand finals through winner's bracket, eventually had to face off with Bonchan in grand finals.
Yeah.
But he did it with Seth. And he's been using Seth for a little bit now.
Yeah,
so.
for a while. Seth has been his main. I like his Seth. I think that he plays Seth. Okay, I think he does a very good job of playing Seth.
Yeah.
Seth is a mix-up character, but there are some matchups where he wants to zone. Some matchups where he wants to keep the opponent out, and Dashio is capable of that. So I think he's capable of playing the sort of nutty mix-up Seth, and I think he's also capable of playing the keep-away style of Seth. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, to be a really good Seth, obviously between AE 2012 and Ultra, Seth kind of changed a little bit. His mix-up game was kind of reduced a little bit, and his fundamentals game was increased a little bit. Not quite the same nutty character as before, but still... Right. If you want to be a strong Seth player, you still have to have a really good mix-up mind. You have to be a very good human randomizing machine.
Right.
And Dashio's really good at that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. His execution keeps up as well. There are very few times I see him play where he screws something up execution-wise. So he, in general, I think is looking good when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the match that we're going to see, obviously he said he's really good at playing zoning or kind of rush down. He's good at switching back and forth. Now, he's going up against Bonchan, right? So, Bonchan's got very solid, very strong defense and such. We're not going to see a lot of that zoning side from him in this match. This is definitely going to be, you know, predominantly rush down Seth style. And you're going to see how he plays it really well. Once he gets Bonchan knocked down, the mix-ups... He changes it up like constantly. He has basically like 7 options in his head that he just seems to cycle between, and that's gonna be the right way to play him. It's a very strong way to play the character, and I think Dashio. I mean, you can kind of see it too, the way Dashio plays, even just from the look. I mean, there's a little bit kind of like a kind of gung ho, having kind of like fun trolling you kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that works with that character. Like, I feel like that's the kind of personality you have to play the character. So it fits him very well.
I think you're right. And I think that he is right now the best Seth in my view. Okay. I think that he's the best Seth in the world. He has had some strong success with that character. There are, of course, a couple people who can, you know, make a credible claim against him for that. But in my view, he's number one right now. And his win against Bonchan showed that. Now, he hasn't been to that many big tournaments.
Right.
Okay, so that's potentially one knock on him. Let's talk about his recorded tournaments that have been shown up online in the past year.
Sure.
Tokyo Game Show, 1st. KO Fighting Game Festival, 13th.
Okay.
That's it. I'm sure he's been playing in Japan.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And in fact, I know that he has. I know he plays quite regularly in Japan. And that's where he hones his skills. But it's not so much in major big tournaments. He doesn't really travel. In fact, KO Fighting Game Festival was the first time he was out of Japan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's not even that was the first time he traveled for Street Fighter.
He hasn't been to EVO at all then yet, huh?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I mean, look, fellow YBK member Kim1234 has talked about Dashio a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, they play a lot. He's talked about how great he is and such. And even some of the U.S. players who were at Tokyo Game Show, namely K-Brad, like as soon as he started seeing Dashio, he was like, oh, he's going to win this event.
Right, even before Dashio had made it very far. Yeah.
Right, so this is the kind of impression that he is making as a player. And again, like we said, to pick him, who, I mean, look, most of us have heard of Dashio, especially after Tokyo Game Show and such.
Sure.
But, you know, even before that, a lot of people have heard of him. We just haven't had a chance to see him a lot. And we don't know, like, the casual audience is less known what he's capable of.
Sure,
and and to have someone like K-Brad see him and just be like, I think he's going to win, and then turn out to be right, I mean, that says a lot.
I think it does, yeah. You know, most of the time I see him play, I would say it's like random online sets that somebody's uploaded, or it's sets that the people can record and they upload. That's most of the time I see him play.
Right.
I would say. So, in any case, he's a very strong player. I'm excited for what he'll be able to do, and the match that we're going to watch against Bonchan again is the grand finals of the Tokyo Game Show.
Right.
We're going to watch the second set. Bonchan actually reset the bracket.
Takes the first set, yeah.
He did take the first set there. But watch, as you said, for the mix-ups. You know, that's really what Dashio is going to be going for. And,
right, that's where he's going to get the bulk of his payoffs
that's the match,
and such.
you know.
Yeah. So let's check this out here again. Against Sagat, you're not going to want to play a zoning game because Sagat's going to be able to out-zone you, and Sagat is kind of more of a defensive character. So here we go, Dashio versus Bonchan. Dashio on the right. And again, we mentioned that Bonchan, these two have already played each other one set. So there's a lot that they've already figured out about each other. So there's going to be a little bit extra information that we haven't seen. But Bonchan already very aware of Dashio's mix-up potential. And you can see right there, just a sign of good character knowledge there, knows that Sagat is very susceptible to those far-standing jabs.
He definitely has a lot of matchup experience against Sagat. You know, he takes damage there. Wow, that's unfortunate for Bonchan.
Yeah, no FADC off of that one.
Yeah. Now, Seth took a lot of damage on that command grab mix-up in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
He did. But that's the character. And you can't let that kind of damage dissuade you from going in next time. That's just what you have to do.
Right.
And Dashio, to his credit, I think does that.
And so far, I mean, one thing that I've noticed too is that Dashio seems, because like I said, sets kind of go crazy a little bit, but Dashio, when he goes for a lot of the uppercut mix-ups, you'll notice that he usually does it mostly when he has 3 bars. So he do an EX uppercut FADC to keep it safe. So it's really interesting to see that he's not quite as nuts as a lot of the other Seth players. And like we said, once Ultra came out, Seth became more of a fundamental character.
Got a little bit more life in the patch after that, too.
But see, there you go. You saw one mix-up from the front where he did the jump fierce. Nice call out to get under there. Chases down the backdash. And
yeah,
see,
there's that 3 bars. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And if he hits, look at that. He gets the extra juggle and the stun. And you're going to get perfected by Seth. And that can't really bug you too much if you're fighting against him. But that's just the nature of the character.
That pile driver right there is something that almost everybody will get grabbed by. Because it just doesn't seem like what you would expect. Sagat's there with 2 bars. You know he needs to make a big comeback. You know he wants to get big damage. Easy way to do it would be Dragon Punch, FADC, Ultra. Why would you go for Command Grab? But that's why Command Grab works.
And you see right there, Dashio also, I mean, he uses like the stand roundhouse every once in a while. You see him try to poke with sweep.
Yeah.
You know, so he actually tries to play a little bit of a footsie game. And here comes the mix-up. So he goes for the cross-up that time. And you're going to see this a lot. So here we go. Knockdown. What's the mix-up situation? He's got, okay, so he's going for the teleport. Gets you with the SPD. Here comes the mix-up again. Dash forward, walk, and then jump short, SPD.
Right, yeah.
He's got jump strong. He's got jump forward, cross-up. He's got empty jump, SPD. But
all sorts of mix-ups, that's for sure.
And that's where you're going to see the bulk of his damage, but that's just kind of the nature of the character. That's how...
Ooh, that sucks. He just wanted close fierce. Wow, that was so smart.
That was a call out right there, yeah.
It was. People oftentimes press buttons after that situation, and that's exactly what Bonchan did. But again, he had those bars, Dashio did, to make it safe or to make it damaging. And you see him build meter pretty quickly, just in general.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like I said, he doesn't seem to use the meter as much for a lot of extra things. So it seems like he saves it a lot.
Yeah.
And here we go. Same thing. Mix-ups. And this time, not even sure what Bonchan was trying to do. Just the delay caught him off guard. Like he thought it was going to be an empty jump.
Yeah.
So the dive kick delay made him crouch.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
He had just gotten that FADC meter, too. Yeah, a really good job of keeping his eye on that meter down there. Yeah, so he's paying attention not just to the mix-ups, but also to his resources.
Yeah, you can also see Infiltration standing in the background there. I mean, he was here at this tournament. He played. He's not here in Grand Finals. It tells you the level of competition. Oh, so he's going to get the mix-up now off of this. But nice job from Bonchan.
Yeah, it just doesn't phase Dashio. You know, he knows that that's going to come up. Right.
Yes. And then it's interesting.
He's willing to do it.
It's interesting as well because his character doesn't have a lot of health.
Yeah.
And to be willing to take that kind of a risk with a lower health character.
Wow, that's so good.
That was dirty.
It was super dirty. Oh, he screwed up afterward, unfortunately.
Yeah. And see, and that was kind of an interesting, that was uncharacteristic, that EX Sonic Boom, but I think it was because of that mess up from earlier. He was trying to recuperate situations and stuff. And, you know, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but there has been a few execution errors here on Dashio's part from time to time.
Yeah.
But I think that's more nerves. But, I mean, see, look at this. This is what I mean by kind of that, like, trollish personality that he has there. I don't know.
Well, he's definitely looking for something when he's doing that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, he's hoping that Sagat jumps.
But he's willing to show it. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of the players take advantage of the shortcut and they stay on the ground when they're buffering uppercuts like that.
That's true.
But Bonchan here with a decent lead. Oh, that was
That's
great.
so good. Yeah. He does that several times throughout the set. Oh, and at this point, if you're Bonchan, you might worry that it's all going to go downhill. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Dashio plays with the mix-ups, look, full meter now effectively. Yeah.
And Bonchan read that, so good stuff on Bonchan. But again, you're never in a situation where you feel safe against Seth, especially when played by a person like Dashio, who seems to have all the mix-ups. He's really kind of maximized the Seth mix-ups. And spoiler, he's just going to get hit right here. Bonchan's going to take one game.
You know, I don't really love how Dashio played that. He did get the tandem and then had a little bit of a chance at offense there. But other than that, he was throwing a lot of booms at sort of a welcome zone for Bonchan to get in.
Right. Oh, and you see right there, Dashio is also capable of the very strong reads as well. And here comes that mix-up, empty jump SPD. Pays off for him. Oh, that jumping strong. Yeah, that's another tricky one because you have to block both hits standing. If you crouch in between it, then he gets to confirm into a combo off of that.
Yeah, Dashio tried that in the very first round of this set of this match, and it worked, and since then, not so much.
Right. All right, so Bonchan, obviously more of the veteran here. I mean, they've both been playing for a long time, but Bonchan, more familiar with the big stage kind of environment and such. Taking that round, very close now to tying up to 2-2.
I love that Dashio's still willing to do that Sonic Boom opener. Last game, Bonchan jumped right over and got jump roundhouse into like a third of Seth's life.
Right.
But Dashio's still willing to do it. He doesn't let the character's low health dissuade him from what he wants to do.
Right. Here we go. So Dashio, like I said, kind of back against the wall situation here, but keeping calm, getting a lot of those good moves in there, like that stand fierce to catch the jump. And still willing to do wake up uppercut, and he had the meter. So he's going to get the combo, and here we go, Vortex time. And
at this point, Bonchan, you just have to hope. Right. That's all you got left is just the hope. Yeah.
And then
Dashio on the right. Even Dashio reeled back after that.
Yep. Because like I said, I mean, he if he had lost that one, Bonchan ties it up 2-2.
Right.
But he kept his calm. He's getting it close.
Oof.
And again, a dire situation again here. So a lot of people would crumble in this situation. But here comes that vortex that we keep talking about.
Oh man, yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Dizzy and Dashio pretty much.
It's basically one more mix-up.
Yeah. And what is that mix-up?
Just the delay. You see that delay twice? Yeah, I used his reaction on the right there. The delayed crouching strong. Maybe there was a crouch tech in there. Very good play. So he had, again, those mix-ups. He was not ever put off from doing those mix-ups.
Right, exactly.
He went for him each time. And he guessed right on a lot of them. You know, he got the reads really, really well. But you could also see, just in addition to that, the matchup knowledge was there. As you said, he knew the combos and the setups perfectly on the character. I'm sure he plays against Sentaro all the time. He's going to know the matchup. He had good positioning in a lot of situations where at the start of that round, he had EX kicks right through the fireball at the start. You know, he's looking for these things. He's putting himself in the right situations to make it happen if they do in fact come up.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually curious now because obviously, like we said, he's been playing for a very long time, right? People
had previously played Viper.
A lot of people haven't seen him a lot, haven't heard of him a lot compared to a lot of other players from Japan and such. This seems kind of like an interesting story here. It almost feels like deja vu.
Oh, yeah?
Have we heard this story before? If you remember Tokyo Game Show 2014, when Peppadai comes to Tokyo Game Show, wins it by defeating Bonchan in the grand finals, and goes on to travel the world and become really, really well known.
Had a good year.
Yeah, had a great year. And I don't know, could this be Dashio's moment? Can this be his key? He could possibly go into Capcom Cup and then all of a sudden just like wreck shop, and then everybody will be, Dashio will be on everybody's lips, to just be talking about him a bunch of times. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see what's going to come from this player.
I certainly think that he could do it, To start off with, though, if you had to name one obstacle that you think is in his way from, limiting him from success in Capcom Cup, what would it be?
Well, I mean, we talked about it before. You named all of his accomplishments, right? He had two. Well, not all of his that were recorded. That we
in the last year.
Yeah. That's all. 2 events, and you mentioned that KO Fighting Game Festival was his first outside of Japan tournament. So even though this was a big stage here, Tokyo Game Show, like we said, lots of eyes watching this one because lots of great players. It was just going to be an amazing event. He won it still in Japan, right? So now he's going to be flying out to San Francisco. This is going to be his first time in the United States. Even players who are really, really accustomed to playing in these high-pressure situations said that Capcom Cup last year made them nervous.
That's true.
It was, the scope of it, the size of it actually kind of got to them. And so even having all that experience traveling, having some of that happened to some players, I got to wonder what's going to happen with Dashio once he gets out there. I honestly think the thing that's going to hurt him the most will be nerves and just the whole, wow, this is crazy, what's going on kind of mentality. If he can block that, I think he'll be able to upset a lot of people at this event. But if the nerves do get to him, that might be bad.
I think that's exactly it. Yeah, it's the question of, will he adapt to this situation? It's going to be a new one for him, and oftentimes people in those new situations don't perform as well. It's not just a fighting game thing. It's just when you're in some brand new situation and there are other people in that situation who have been there before,
right.
It's hard. It can be hard to keep up. So I feel like if he solves that, he'll be in a pretty good situation. But even in KO Fighting Game Festival, he got 13th.
Right.
It turned out that one of the reasons for that was that there was another YBK member in his pool, so it was maybe an unfortunate draw. But still, I don't know if he'll do better this time.
It's going to be a common analysis with a lot of the newer players coming to Capcom Cup. Can they get past the spotlights, the kind of intimidation factor.
I know that Dashio has been in big situations
before.
Right. Just not in foreign ones. And if people think that is a nitpick, I don't really think so. When you're going abroad, it's oftentimes a different story. You don't have your comfort zone there. You're not going to go home that night. You know that you're an ocean away from people.
Everything's weird. Like the hotel rooms are different.
Right, it's a whole different situation. Yeah.
Jet lag. I mean, honestly, how many days before the event is he going to get there, right? Is he going to get there a month in advance to adjust? Probably not. Maybe a week at most or so. So it is tough. So a lot of the players like the Daigo Tokitos and such who do travel a lot, the infiltrations, they're kind of used to it, right? Like, I mean, look, Daigo is infamous for showing up and just sleeping, like, constantly, like, oversleeping to get himself back into the groove of wherever he's gone. You know, he has that experience, and Dashio does not have that experience. So it'll be new for him, but like I said, as with Pepedai, as he got to travel a lot, I really do hope this is kind of like a door opening for Dashio to be able to travel a lot more, to be able to head to a lot more events. I'm super happy he's here. Oh, yeah. So, but I mean,
he's representing a style and a character that I absolutely think needs to be at Capcom Cup.
Right, yeah.
And you know, he's a great choice for it. Like I said, I think he's the best with that character right now, and he played great. So.
Well, what is his biggest strength? What do you think is the one key factor for him that will allow him to not just do well at Capcom Cup, but potentially win?
Well, I really think a lot of it has to do with the reads that he makes. I just think that that's the character. You know, Seth has great mobility and lots of stuff going for him. That's not just the mix-ups, but I really think that that's where Dashio, you know, really gets things going. So if he can make that happen, then I think that he can do it. And I do think that he can make that happen. Right. I mean, he has done well against many people. It's not just TGS. You know, I remembered as we're talking, he was at SBO before, and he did very well with Viper. And, you know, he can certainly do that stuff. I don't think there's anything about his game that feels to me like it is a problem for him. I really just, the only thing I'm concerned about for him is whether he will be okay in that foreign situation.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I think a lot of it really comes down to the character that he's playing. Because, like you said, it's interesting because that character definitely represents a facet of Street Fighter 4, you know, with like Fuerte and Viper, even, you know, this kind of mix-up heavy character.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a strong faction of those characters in the game. So glad that he's here to represent that kind of style of play in the game. If he can just carry out his Seth game plan properly, there's no reason. Like I said, you're going to get perfected by Seth, as I mentioned earlier, right? Which just basically means if he just gets the right reads going, he can beat anybody.
Agreed.
Right? So if he just gets on a really good hot streak and really, really starts frustrating the opponent, he can win any matchup. And as long as he can remain calm in his craziness, you know, there's absolutely no reason why he can't just do a ton of damage in this tournament.
I'm definitely with you on that.
But having said that, how far do you think he's actually going to get? How well do you think he's going to do?
I think it's going to be tough, man. I do. Like I said, I really think the reason for that is just the situation. I don't think there's anything about his game or his talent that's at fault.
Right.
I just... You know, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how well he adapts. It's a new situation. He could be fantastic at it. I hope that he is.
Yeah, and going up against the highest caliber of opponents.
Well, I mean, he's beaten the highest caliber.
Oh, right. But the thing about it is, because of the way Seth works, you know, if your mix-ups go wrong and the opponent just happens to either guess right or just, you know, accidentally guess right or just things don't fall, Dashio's way, Seth has low health.
He does.
He can die super fast, and there's just a lot of, you know, very unfortunate things that can happen for the character. So, I just think right now, probability-wise, it's kind of against him with just matchup-wise. But then, like you said, if we add on the I'm traveling to a foreign country and, wow, this is America, this place is weird factor. It's going to be hard, but he can he can go 2-2 and upset some of the craziest players on the 2 wins that he had. So he can easily affect how this tournament will run. You know what I mean? Who's getting where, because that's just kind of the wild card factor that I feel like Seth is.
I think Seth is super good. I gotta tell you. I think Seth is a really good character.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, this is all going to be on the weekend of the 5th through 6th in December at the PlayStation Experience. That's where we'll be for Capcom Cup. If you are in the area, I highly recommend trying to check it out. If you're not, it will, of course, be live on stream, twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
That's right. And you can also follow, for all Capcom Fighters news, on Twitter at Capcom Fighters, and check out all the other videos that we've done for all the other qualifiers on youtube.com/Capcom Fighters TV. Did I put the TV on at the beginning? I might not have, but it is Capcom Fighters TV here on YouTube. So.
All right.
Pay attention to this one, not whatever I said before. So
Got it. Yeah, all right. Okay. Well, speaking of YouTube and also streams, if you like this sort of discussion where we talk about players and their chances and all sorts of other stuff, match analysis, news, drama, whatever else is going on, James and I do a series, UltraChenTV, which you can find at twitch.tv/UltraChenTV and youtube.com/UltraChenTV.
That's right. We do all sorts of videos, really in-depth analysis, a lot of beginner videos as well, and you could also follow us on Twitter as well at UltraChenTV.
All right. Well, hope to see you at Capcom Cup. If not, have a great time watching. See ya.